If you thought Marble Snap was toxic before, just wait. It's about to get really toxic. Really, really toxic up in here. Ajax is coming to Marble Snap, and oh, he's not going to be good for a week. I'll tell you why. Everyone's going to be playing Luke Cage, but that doesn't mean don't get Ajax. I'm actually very excited for this card. Every time we have Affliction come to the game, people freak out and have to tech in Luke Cage for a week, and then regret not getting that Affliction card later on. Look at what happened with US Agent. Actually, I don't know if we should talk about that. Look at Ajax. Ajax, at the time that we're recording this, this is a 4-4. For those who do not know, I'm on vacation, but I actually come back this week. We will be back live on twitch.tv/ItsGuestGaming, back streaming live the week that Ajax comes on out. So my first stream back, I hope to see you all there. Hit the like and subscribe button and the follow button over on Twitch. At the time I'm recording this, he's a 4-4. I'll be shocked if he releases at a 4-4 because this is incredibly strong. This gives me Darkhawk vibes, but way easier to execute than Darkhawk. 4-4 with the ongoing of +1 power for each card in play afflicted with negative power. Here's what I'm talking about. Okay, there's a couple of things that you want to factor in here. Number one, it says afflicted with negative power. We don't know 100% if that's going to be yet. Does it have to show red? Or can it also be afflicted on there, but then they got to buff in another way? Let's say it's in a buffed up lane. You know, it's in, I don't know, Xandar, right? And it gets +1, but then it also loses 1. We don't know if that's going to count because technically the card is still afflicted. So he should, keyword, should get more power that way. So you start thinking about cards that put out Affliction. You start thinking of your synergies there. But there's another piece to this. It's not just, oh, just play Hazmat in every deck. Boom, Ajax is great. It's not just play Typhoid Mary in every deck. Boom, and Ajax is great. There's actually one other piece to this, and that's board space. You need to be able to go tall in each lane, and sometimes the power differential of just how many cards you have in the lane could be enough that if you do that Hazmat and you've only got 2 cards, but your opponent has 4 in the same lane, that could be enough to keep that lane in your favor rather than, well, losing the match. So keep an eye on your board space and where you're placing your cards with cards like Ajax, because we are going to see a lot of Affliction. Now, you think High Evolutionary, you think Toxic Hazmat, you think Man-Thing, US Agent. There's a lot of Affliction cards out there, which means this card is going to suck for 1 week. Everybody and their sister is going to be trying the card with all of the Affliction, and then they go, Luke Cage. It's an ongoing effect. Ajax then just becomes a 4-4. It's the hard counter to Ajax. I personally think his stats are so good that if it releases at 4-4, Luke Cage or not, this becomes an incredibly strong card in Marble Snap. Incredibly strong. Let me show you some of the decks as to why, because his ceiling, if you had like maximum case scenario, Hazmat goes out plus Typhoid Mary, everybody gets afflicted, right? There are 24 board spaces. And if it's an ongoing and he's also afflicted too, and if that all counts, that means he could be a 428. That's top case scenario, but that's a ceiling unlike any other 4-cost has ever had. That's higher than Ms. Marvel with extra help like Onslaught. That's crazy. So let's take a look at a couple of decks here talking about what I think is going to happen with Ajax. So this is covering all the bases. This is Toxic Tallball. I'm taking the idea of the deck and saying, I am going to fill the board and have 2 very tall lanes simultaneously. I'm going to throw rocks. I'm going to throw a bunch of toxicity out there. No problem. And then I'm going to Hazmat. Then I'm going to possibly Typhoid Mary. And I'm going to go over the top because you've been hurt, but I have Typhoid Mary, Sage, and Mockingbird on my side. But I'm going to need 2 lanes. Remember, you only have to win 2. You don't have to win 3. So leave Nebula alone, clog up a lane, that scales up. Same thing with Debris into Absorbing Man, one of the most annoying combinations to go with. Shoots all the way up because, again, if it's even 4-on-4, that doesn't matter. But with them clogging a lane, depending on what's in that one lane already, for example, like a White Widow, clog the lane, White Widow, you have the number advantage. It doesn't matter what the affliction is. There's a couple of really cool things that can happen with this style of deck because Ajax, organically in this deck, in my opinion, getting him to 415, 416 as an ongoing, stupid easy. Stupid easy. I am putting armor in here because I don't want to see Killmonger everywhere. I don't think anybody does, but you got to protect. You absolutely have to protect. Toxic Tallball is going to be a ridiculously strong card. Strong deck for Ajax in the future. 2x Ajax. We're going on again. We're going on again with the 2x Ajax to say, High Evolutionary worked. We saw what happened with the Moon Girl Abomination combination with Makari. Makari was Makari, and now we can capitalize on a similar idea, but a little bit better. So we have the magic play in here. Magic's optional, but I like having that flexibility, even though Nocturne's a very prevalent card, Storm exists, etc. I think that the toxicity of Hazmat going all the way out there to everybody, and then doubling up the Moon Girl, A-Bomb, She-Hulk, Ajax, remember, that's gonna be a stupid way to get two of those major cards out there. Moon Girl, Ajax 1, Ajax 2, Abominations on top of it. I mean, this High Evolutionary seems to be a really organic fit for Affliction, obviously, so let's heavily lean into it without the need of Hulk, without the need of Red Hulk, even with that double combination. I don't think that's going to be necessary because you want to stay out of Shang-Chi range until the very end. You want the Affliction. You want the chaos, because as long as everybody has chaos on both sides of the board and you've got multiples of the Abominations and multiples of the She-Hulks and multiples of the Ajaxes, with all of that out there, Ajax, who's getting +1 for every card that's afflicted with negative power anywhere on the board, he's going to shoot up over Infinite stats, potentially. So keep an eye on Ajax in a High Evo shell. I think there's very exciting things to happen in High Evolutionary, and this could be what saves High Evolutionary. If by the time this video comes out, they still haven't buffed High Evolutionary, this is like the saving possible last chance before it's just like the community uproar. Here's version 2 that leans into the high side of it, and I'm now spinning into utilizing Man-Thing for the very first time out of all of these decks, which doesn't need the Moon Girl synergy to get more cards out. We are looking at skip magic, using magic, skip 6, She-Hulk, Hulk, etc. But more importantly, with the targeted single lane strategy via Man-Thing and regular The Thing, you can just have one heavy Affliction lane and then an Ajax that all by himself is now a 410, 412, 413. Between that and a couple extra little pieces like Wasp here, let me take one away from there. Cyclops, let me take two away from there. You don't have to Hazmat, but obviously Hazmat's probably going to make almost every single Ajax deck without the need for Luke Cage. So yeah, you are leaning heavy into that synergy. You have to. It's the only way to make Ajax work, in my opinion. You have to lean heavy into, let me put the chaos out there synergy. If they have Luke Cage, you're going to lose. But if they don't have Luke Cage, you have some flexibility now with some taller cards in a high Ejax deck. Survive the Agent. This is taking advantage of the ongoing double up style deck. So, Wong, Black Panther, Arnim Zola. That's, a very strong pre-existing shell. Even now, Wong, Sage, Arnim Zola. Great pre-existing shell. Absolutely fantastic. How does Ajax fit into this? Well, if there's going to be multiple copies of everything all over the place, US Agent and Hazmat actually makes a lot of sense because you could go the Wong Hazmat Absorbing Man, boom, Ajax wins one lane all by itself style of deck. You could also throw down US Agent and Sage into its own lane for protection, and then get the beef up at the same time by having Black Panther still register as a relatively strong card under the US Agent lane. Odin survives pretty good power under the US Agent lane. Wong, if it gets afflicted by US Agent because it got doubled over via Arnim Zola, that's fine because it's still going to make up for it with Ajax in the lane later on. So this leans heavy into bigger costs. You could run this deck also very easily, take out Sage, throw in Mr. Negative. Run this as a negative deck, survive the Agent. You want the negative Affliction to be on your side to benefit Ajax as a plopper card, because Ajax decks, in my opinion, again, are about 2 lanes. You're not spreading wide. It's a little bit forecastable in that aspect. You're not spreading over 3 lanes more often than not. You know very clearly, these are the 2 lanes I'm going for. Ajax is going to be a giant card to couple with Sage, because Sage will get reduced via Ravona. Big numbers can come out of these Affliction decks without the need of now having to worry about Luke Cage, at least on your side. Lastly, Affliction Soars. We're taking a hybrid of Darkhawk, because, I mean, if we're going to give them rocks, they may have to play out those rocks. But we can also give them more rocks with debris, and then more rocks with rocks. So there's rocks in the deck, there's rocks on the board, there's rocks all over the place. They end up in their hand, boom, Scorpion, rocks. It's a lot of rocks. And we're also going to play Red Guardian, because if they put down those rocks, -2. Rocks. You get the idea. So Mystique copies the Ajax, maybe. Maybe it copies Darkhawk, maybe. Put down the Sarah, get both of them out there in the final tier. Oh, why not? We want to soar over the top in 2 lanes. Because there are 4 cost cards here, and we have Sarah, because Zabu's dead and doesn't look like is ever coming back, ever. Might as well go over the top. Might as well go over the top. As I'm recording this here live, the chat is recommending that we change the name of the deck. So I think we can. I think we can. We're going to change this one to Affliction Rocks. That's why we record this live, because I have an amazing community here on Twitch, and I hope you come enjoy it with us. We are going back live this week, Ajax week. I hope to see you over on twitch.tv/ItsGuestGaming. Thank you all so much for watching. I think Ajax is going to be worth it. I think Ajax is a very good card because of what he does. Just like many other decks, if it dies, it dies. You see a Luke Cage, you're probably gonna need a secondary play line, and that's what I tried to build with those decks, a secondary play line in case if the Ajax line goes because they drop down a Luke Cage. Sometimes you go all in on it, like the High Evolutionary decks, and sometimes you just have to retreat. It is what it is. I think that's the case with any deck in Marvel Snap, so now we just have to learn how to deal with it via Ajax. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Hit like and subscribe. You know the routine, and I will see you all next time.